Good morning, everyone. It's Henry once again, and atypically, this is a winter adventure. My canoeing buddy Frank wants to go snowshoeing on Lake Temagami, so the ice road on Lake Temagami right now, and so we'll be following that for a little bit, and then we're going to angle off and go up Loon Bay into Spitzig Lake and beyond, depending on how our time works out. The weather today should be just below zero, -3 or 4, so it shouldn't be too cold out there, and it's not supposed to be too windy, and so that should be really pleasant out here. I haven't done a major snowshoe like this in quite a while now, and so I'm really looking forward to how well we get along today.
Pulling like this, I could go 30 kilometers without crowds. No, that's the thing. It wouldn't even bother me. Oh, it's flat, right? Have you ever been out here?
Okay, so we've been on the ice road for about 2 kilometers, maybe a little less, and we've gone from the hub back there to the navigation marker you can see over my shoulder here, and now we're going to break off in this direction.
I'm on my way to the promised land. I'm on my way to the promised land. I'm on my way.
So we've gotten to the mouth of Loon Bay. It's about 4.5 k now since we left the car, and I would say that's about an hour, maybe just a bit over. Frank's something fell off his sled, so he's just gone back for it. Well, they say one hand washes the other, and that's what seems to have happened here. Back in the fall, Frank went in with his battery-powered chainsaw and cleared all the big stuff out of this trail. And that meant that the snowmobile guys, I guess, figured it out and have been able to come through here And that made it so much easier for us. Instead of breaking 2 feet of snow, we were able to walk on the packed down trail, which is just made today a dream. And so I'm here at the edge of Spitzig Lake, and Frank's coming behind, and we're gonna have some lunch.
Aha! It's getting deeper. Must have had a south wind.
No, you're off the snowmobile now. And so you've got the new 8 inches on top of the old 8 inches. So last fall, when we came through here, this was a swamp, and kind of in the middle there's just a slight trace there. We paddled up through the mud. Very difficult. And now in the winter I'm able to make it across this landscape just like this. And my guess is with the thin ice, we probably won't be able to cross the stream, but we can probably go over the top there. But sure as I haven't done this in a while, and it was great. We got into this 15-16 inch snow, and it's a lot tougher, I'll tell you, but it's wonderful out here. So we're here at the north end of Spitzig Lake, and we got to the stream that we paddled through back in October or September, but it's pretty difficult to cross. We'd have to go around a long way, which is fine, except we're pretty close to our turnaround time for today. So that's going to be it. So Frank's taking some more documentation images and going to fly the drone, and then we're going to head back, I think. What a beautiful place. Like, you really feel like you're the only people in the world right here. We followed snowmobile trails, but the last kilometer we broke trail here, and that's pretty tough going. And we got in near the dam here, and some of it's 3 feet deep, and you go all the way down, even with the snowshoes. But it's pretty nice though. So we're about 1/3 back from Spitzig Lake. We're still on the north end of it. That's the track we've cut, basically was on an old snowmobile path, which made it a bit easier, but still tough going. There's some slush there too in places. But it's pretty beautiful. Now Frank is headed down to that narrows there between the upper and lower lakes, and we'll meet up there. So it's what a beautiful day. So we got lots of sun now. It's warmed up to probably -3 or 4, and you can put your hands out now. It's not too cold, so it's pretty nice. And we're just back now on the better trails, on the better snowmobile paths that are kind of harder, so we'll be able to make better time now heading back. So just came through the Spitzig portage, so right there, and we're just waiting for Frank to show up, and we're headed right into the sun in that direction, and that's about, I don't know, six and a few little bit kilometers, and about 4 of it's on the snowmobile paths like those, which aren't too bad, and then the last 2K will be on the ice road, which will be really nice. Went in here with this chainsaw and cleaned it up in the fall, and somebody figured it out, and so they got the snowmobiles through. So that makes that trail so much easier to walk on than it would be with 14 inches of snow slugging with the snowshoes. I don't think we would have gotten very far today had it been like that, because it's just so deep. So I'm halfway down Loon Bay. At the horizon there is where we cut through the forest, and then we'll be into Lake Temagami proper, and then it's another 1.5 kilometers or so to the road, and then we are on the ice road back to the car. It was cold this morning, but my gosh, is this ever a nice afternoon here. We got a bit of a breeze, we're warm enough from doing all this, and you know, you really can get along. You can have your hands out for a few minutes, and it's not the end of the world where it was this morning. And thankfully these snowmobile trails are packed down a bit, so you can make a really good time. But it's pretty special out here. It's so quiet, and you're the only 2 people here, and it's pretty nice. So we got it all done. I would say there's something around 19 or so kilometers. It's a nice experience, something different, and I'm glad I did it. So I just want to thank you, for those of you who are watching, who hung on and watched my little video here of this snowshoe trip. I really appreciate your viewership on my channel here on YouTube. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you later. We began our trip at the Central Lake Access parking lot of Lake Temagami, marked item 1. We then walked with snowshoes on about 2.1 kilometers along the Lake Temagami ice road. At this point, I marked item 2, we branched off to the north, following established snowmobile tracks. Without these, this trip would have been excessively difficult, as the snow cover on the lake was 30 to 50 centimeters, and that would have made for slow going with or without snowshoes. We followed the snowmobile tracks to the Loon Bay Narrows and made a detour through the forest as there was free running water in the narrow passage, perhaps due to under ice currents, marked item 3. The tracks continued on to Loon Bay and right to the Spitzig Lake portage. Normally this is not a snowmobile trail, but Frank had cleared much of the large blockages last fall, and subsequently snowmobilers discovered this and followed it onto Spitzig Lake, to our delight, marked item 4. We took our first lunch just after the portage on Spitzig Lake and then snowshoed to the north end. The top third was harder going as the snowmobile trails were older and more filled with snow, and the final 500 meters was quite difficult with no trails and snow depths ranging from 50 to 80 centimeters. We reached our turnaround point at the natural dam at the north end of Spitzig Lake. On the return trip, we had a second meal a bit north of the Spitzig Lake portage on an icy patch where the camping chairs would be adequately supported. After this, we retraced our route back to the parking lot for a very enjoyable 9 hours and 27-minute excursion. Thank you for watching.